Hey everybody, how you doing? How you doing? Election time is here. Some of the polls have closed, and we are trying to see who is going to take it all. Will it be Harris? Will it be Trump? I want to know what's going on. Hold on, guys. Let me just see who's coming in. Thank you for coming in. Appreciate it. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Really appreciate you guys. I know that it's been a long time coming with this election, but everything is going to be good, guys, no matter who wins. If your candidate is Harris and she wins, good. If she loses, good. Well, it may not be good for you because you may not want that. Or if your candidate is Trump and he wins, good. If he loses, the world will keep on spinning. So I know that a lot of people are frustrated. A lot of people are saying that he should have never ran because of the insurrection or the almost coup that happened on January 6th in 2021. But neither here or there, this man is the Republican nominee and is a 50-50 shot that he will be our 47th president. So we have to understand that yes, things might be crazy right now, but we only time will tell to see what is going on, what will happen, and how things are gonna go. So I'm gonna, just let some more people come in and we'll get to it. I am very happy to do this live. It's an amazing, amazing thing. I've been on YouTube for about 5 months now, and I'm so happy that it's finally over. Oh my goodness. Well, not over as yet, but it's gonna be. We are I don't know about you, but I've been tired of seeing some of these commercials from these candidates. It's just been wild. One of the crazy, crazy candidates, I believe this guy is like from the Constitutional Party. This man had some crazy, crazy campaign commercials. I'm gonna to figure out his name. His name is eluding me right now, but I know it's the Constitution Party or something like that. And man, oh man, this guy, I was like, yo, who the hell is this guy? But let me look it up. I believe is Randall something. Yes, Randall Terry. That's the guy name. I was like, yo, who is this guy? Why is he having these crazy, crazy commercials about abortion, about all types? I was like, yo, and it was so crazy because I take care of my aunt, and I was over there taking care of her. And she likes to watch The View and everything. She likes Whoopi Goldberg. And this commercial came on. I was like, what in the world is this? I was like, nah, nah, this gotta go. I'm like, nah, this is crazy, crazy, but it's wild out here. I'm like, this is just crazy. I'm glad it's about to be over, guys. I don't know about you, but hey, I'm happy for it to be over. Hey, guys, if you come in and you want to come on, I would appreciate it. If let me know in the comment section or the comment box. I'm still trying to get, you know, doing with this live stream thing. So if you guys want to come on and say what you want to say about the candidate that you possibly accepted or the candidate that you voted for, let me know. We can continue. We can have this discussion. I voted for Trump, and I feel like, hey, he's the right person for the job. But Harris could surprise me if she wins. She could be a great president. She's not the person that I want, But who knows? If the people select Harris, I'm gonna support her. She's gonna be my president, and I would support her and say, hey, look, just do what you got to do and make your moves. So it's gonna be a crazy night. We're gonna see, ups and downs, and we're gonna possibly see states that candidates thought they would win and maybe they won't win. They didn't win. Or we're gonna see states that's going to be so close, it's just possibly going to be down to the wire and go on and things like that. But we just have to continue having faith, understand that this is America, this is the process that our forefathers have chosen. We are not under the Articles of we are not under the Articles of Confederation. We are not under a monarchy. This is how we, the people, get a chance to choose our elected officials, to choose the people that we want to represent us, people that we want to represent us in Congress, people that we want to represent us in the Senate, and the person that we want, or the two people that we want to represent us as president and vice president over the next 4, possibly 8 years. So it's an amazing opportunity that we have. I hope each and every one of you who are watching, I hope you got a chance to vote. I hope that you exercised that right. Doesn't matter who you wanted to vote for, as long as you exercise that right and you said to yourself that I'm going to take a part in the American democratic way and be able to say that, hey, look, I voted, I chose a candidate so that my voice can be heard. I want to see if more people would appear and we could, try to get things going. And, I'm just going to, let me post a comment real quick. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. So yes, guys, I know that it's going to be crazy. I know that a lot of people, are tired of it, but I like this type of stuff. I love politics. I ran for city councilman of the 36th district of Brooklyn, New York, many years ago, goodness gracious, 11 years ago. And it was an amazing time then. And politics is always will be in my blood. So I can't wait to see who's going to come out on top. It's going to be amazing, amazing, amazing. Let's get to some. Let's see. Let's check out. Guess we'll check out NBC, and we'll see. We'll see exactly what they're discussing. So, all right, let's get to NBC. All right, let me put on the volume.
Even though only 8% is in here. This was a county that they were looking at to see if Democrats could make inroads there. It looks to be about the same.
I'm not sure if this is about. Let's skip ahead and see
the
this.
spread 287
okay, all right,
just
cool.
changed. That's how fast voting data is coming in. Again, I love going to this. The remaining vote that's there. Again, here's the issue: the remaining votes in the Democratic counties like Franklin, which is Columbus, Cuyahoga, Cleveland. Look at the numbers here in Cuyahoga. Look how many votes are still out. 377,000. She's on top by 71%. Let's see how she did compared to Biden 4 years ago. 66%. So she's overperforming in Cuyahoga, and there's still a lot of that vote that's out. Let's go down to Franklin County. It holds the capital of Ohio, Columbus, 68%. Overperforming there with about 60% of the vote that's in. And then again, 266,000 remaining. So just those two counties, we're talking about more than 500,000 votes. And that's way bigger than the spread for the entire state.
Hey, Tom.
Yeah, go for it.
I mean, when you talk about some of her overperforming in those areas, the reason we expect Ohio likely goes red, but let's talk about the Senate race there.
Yeah,
because we have the control of Senate hanging in the balance right now, and it hangs on this Senate race.
Yeah.
Bernie Moreno, the car dealer, versus Sherrod Brown, the incumbent. What are you seeing?
Yeah, so look at this, neck and neck. The difference here, only 74,000. So
Wow.
what does that mean? That means the Republican in this race is underperforming Trump. There could be a split ticket issue here. Again, way too early, 56% of the vote in. But look, the difference here is 74,000. Remember that number I was telling you to remember? It was over 200,000. So that means that Trump is overperforming right now. Bernie Moreno is underperforming the Republican candidate. The incumbent is still down. But again, remember what I told you. There's a lot of that vote that's out in Cleveland, in Columbus. I'm going to look in one more spot here. Let's get back to the president's race in Hamilton County, which is Cincinnati. She's at 62%. Biden was at 57.
Just let you guys know. Just make sure that when you see these numbers, don't just think that, okay, or she might be leading in one county and stuff like that. Certain states, you might have counties that lean blue, and then Trump takes the whole state, or you might have some counties that would lean red and Harris takes the whole state. I just want you to focus on the Electoral College. Each candidate needs to get over 270. If they don't get over 270, they don't become president. So all this is just fluff that they talking about, just to show that, hey, look, this is changing, that's changing, whatever. But it might turn out to be something that can cause one candidate to go over or next candidate to not. But you also have to understand, and they just briefly talked about it, but we have to discuss the Senate race. Understand that if Trump wins, but the Senate goes Democrat, and then the House possibly go Republican, you're going to have stalemates, right? If you want your candidate to win, you need to also focus on those. You need to also focus on those Senate races and the House races so that you can get your candidate. If it's Harris, you want to have a Democratic House. You want to have a Democrat House, and you want to have a Democrat Senate-controlled Senate. If it's Trump, you want to have a Republican-controlled House and a Republican-controlled Senate. So you have to just make sure that you do what you got to do and make sure that your vote, you're not only just voting for the presidents and that's it. You're voting that down ballot. You're voting those people in to be able to support your candidate if your candidate wins. So I hope that you are able to do these things and make sure that you take it very serious, because if you don't, it could be a situation where things go sour for your candidate and you just be like, oh my goodness gracious, I wish that things would have been better. But we'll just see. And let's see, let's check out another one. Let's check out Fox to see what Fox is saying. And let's see what Fox is saying real quick. All right, Fox is, hold on, let me make sure that they're live. Okay, yeah. So, well, it was obvious that Gillibrand was going to win. Rhode Island, yes, that's good. Tennessee, of course. All right, got Blackburn won. Of course, Sanders is going to win. Sanders been there for the longest. West Virginia, okay, that's a gain actually. Wyoming, the incumbent is Republican incumbent. Delaware, the race is called for Meyer. Okay, in Indiana, and the race is called for Braun. Missouri, the race is called for Kehoe. Well, okay, and North Carolina, the race of a governor is actually called for the Democrat. North Dakota for Republican. Iowa for New Hampshire. Okay, Vermont for Scott, the incumbent. Okay, for West Virginia. And let's go back to that. Let's go back to something real quick. Let's go back to Vermont. So in Vermont, you see that they have a Republican governor, but the senator, they chose Bernie Sanders. So it could be that you have where they're okay with having a Republican or a conservative governor, but other people might just be more liberal because even we know that Bernie Sanders is more of a liberal candidate, but he runs as an independent, which is okay, neither here or there. But we just have to understand that it could be like that. All right. You might have situations where, like I said, you have senator as a Democrat, but the governor is Republican, or the governor is a Democrat, and the senator or two senators are Republicans. We don't know. So it's very funny how you see it, but let's continue. All right. So Maine has been called for Harris. I guess that's Congressional District 1. Okay. All right. So we have to be real careful and see exactly how it goes and stuff like that. But guys, as I said, this can be the biggest race in our lifetime. I mean, for me, I would probably say this is one of the most important races in my lifetime, because we see how much it can be affected or how much it can affect us, where we have two totally different candidates and we have the country going, and for a lot of people, me including, I feel the country is going down the wrong path, and I don't want more of the same. I feel that Biden, even though he did some good things, he started to decline, and they pushed his vice president down our throats. The Democrats did not get a chance to vote for who they wanted to vote for. They didn't get a chance to select their candidate. And I believe if they would have selected a stronger candidate, if the people would have been able to vote, I'm telling you right now, I don't think Trump would win or would have won. Oh, I can't say would have won. I don't think Trump would be in this situation where the race is close. I think if it was a strong Democrat, they would have blown Trump away, because there's so many problems that Trump has that a lot of people are like, whatever. Like for me, I wanted to vote for RFK Jr., but he dropped out of the race and threw his support behind Trump because they must have made some deals that RFK will be in his administration. So I support Trump just because of that. I am not a strong person to say or gun ho for Trump. I am not that type of person. Trump has his ways that I don't like. Harris has her ways that I don't like. But because RFK Jr. threw his support behind Trump, I did more research on Trump and his policies. And then also, Tulsi Gabbard threw her support behind Trump. And I said, wait a minute, these were two former Democrats, two big time former Democrats who are throwing their support behind Trump. That might mean that Trump is not going to play the conservative fiddle, and he's going to be more of a reformer, and he's going to do things that's going to help the people. So I said, you know what? I'm going to look at Trump even more. And once I did that and looked at his policies, and I said, okay, he's not being controlled by the Heritage Foundation. He doesn't give a damn about Project 2025. I said, you know what? I will vote for this man. And I'm proud that I did. I'm proud that I did. But we just have to see what goes on and just make moves. So we just continue to see how it goes and do what we gotta do, But let's continue. Let's see. Let's check out. Let me see. Let's check out. Let me look. Let me look. Who can we check out here? Let's see what MSNBC has to say. Yeah, let's see what MSNBC have to say. Let's check out them real quick. All right, let's see. Let's see.
Reported Harris had a gigantic lead with that, and with every update since of the election day vote, Trump has been chipping away at it, and you're at 80% right now in, so more to come. And again, this is a key county, I think, once we get full results here to understand where this might be going, because this is what we're looking at. In 2016, Donald Trump, this was a huge gain for Republicans. They used to get absolutely flattened here. Donald Trump only lost this county by 3 points and change. In 2020, Joe Biden, Scranton native, got it up to almost 10. And the question is, this is winning for Democrats statewide. This or anything less than that gets very shaky for Democrats statewide. So where tonight is this going to land? Right now, if you froze the election here and you said that's it, Democrats would be thrilled with this number out of Lackawanna County. We need to see, though, with that remaining 20%, if it continues to come down and it ends up looking more like this or even closer than that. But that's the most complete we have right now of a big, substantial county in Pennsylvania. And that's what we're looking at there. And again, just a couple other things to flag. We don't have much. Erie County, we'll keep an eye on it because there's only 2 counties in Pennsylvania that actually swung between 16 and 22 counties that went for Trump in 16 and then flipped to Biden in 2020. Erie County is one of them. We basically have no vote from there, but that's a bellwether county we want to be following as it comes in. And the other one is on the eastern side of the state here. This is Northampton County. Now we got about a quarter of the vote in here. A lot of this you could just see here. This is what it lets the mail-in vote. You see, Joe Biden won this thing narrowly in 2020. This was a flip. And again, this is the question now as the remaining vote starts to get tallied up and come in. Can Donald Trump get back to that number and beyond it? Can he flip this county? These are potentially bellwethers in Pennsylvania. By the way, Wisconsin, we started to get some results here out of Wisconsin, too.
Let me tell you something, guys. I have friends in Pennsylvania, and they have been telling me that it could be that Pennsylvania goes for Trump. All my friends have said, listen, they don't think that Harris is going to take it. 2 of my friends voted for Trump, and the third one voted for Harris. And she was even like that she wasn't a strong Harris supporter. She said that, hey, I don't think that I would really have voted for her, but she's a strong Democrat. She's almost like that vote blue no matter who. And even though I tried to tell her about Trump, she was like, get out of my face with that. So I was like, okay, no problem. So, I don't try to sway anybody who wants to just listen to whoever. I just say, hey, look, do what you got to do, and that's it. But let's continue to hear what he has to say.
Pennsylvania, where this is just all Republican gains later on. So we want to keep an eye on here because the Democrats want to get Harris over 40% in Waukesha. They want to keep making gains here. And so with 40% in, you're at about the 2020 level. And this is the other one. Ozaukee County, of all the counties in Wisconsin, this one has the second highest level of educational attainment. That is, people with college degrees. Democrats have been doing much better with this demographic. This showing for Joe Biden in Ozaukee County in 2016, I don't know why it's that, 2020, this showing for Joe Biden, he lost by 12 points, was the best showing for a Democrat in this county since Lyndon Johnson in 1964. So This is one tonight where you want to see if Harris is further improving on this, getting this down, into single digits, 5, 7, 8 points, something like that. So far, a little bit more than a quarter of the vote in. This would be a very good number for Democrats out of Ozaukee County. These suburbs right outside Milwaukee used to win Wisconsin for Republicans. Democrats have been eroding that support for Republicans. If they can do more, that's big for them tonight. And then there's this. About a third is in now in Dane County, and this is the mother lode of votes for Democrats. It has become this way in Wisconsin. It used to be that the Democratic coalition was very spread out in the state. Democrats could win dozens of rural counties with blue-collar populations. Trump came along. He's gobbled just about all of those up. So the Democrats are increasingly dependent on just running up the score. This is a massive county, Madison State Capital, University of Wisconsin, high-density suburbs here. And here's the thing in Dane County. Every election this century, Democrats have gotten a bigger and bigger margin out of here.
Wow.
This is where it landed in 2020. It's not just the margin, Biden winning this by more than 50 points. It's this: Biden 260,000, Trump 78,000. That's a margin of nearly 182,000 votes for Democrats out of this county. And again, if you went back to the turn of the century, Democrats were winning here by about 50,000 votes. Every 04, 08, 12, 16, 20, it gets bigger and bigger and bigger.
That's
Democrats
crazy.
want to get even more out of this tonight because, again, they're taking such hits in the rural areas of the state. Can they get this thing up to 190? Could they ever get this to 200,000 votes? Every time you think they've gotten the most they possibly can out of Dane, they get more. They're probably going to need more tonight. So, again, a third of the vote.
That's amazing. That's amazing. And I remember years ago, I remember Madison was in the news because the teachers out there, I believe that the teachers were striking, if I'm not mistaken. And I was in full support for them because at that time I was in school to become a teacher. And I was like, hey, I want teachers to get paid. I feel that teachers are one of the most important people to mold our children, because you have to understand that children are with teachers 6, 7, maybe 8 hours in a day. Sometimes you have kids that are with teachers more than they're with their parents. So you have to understand that a well-educated, well-paid teacher will be a happy man or woman and will be able to educate your child in the way that you want them to educate them. You have to understand that, hey, teachers need to get paid. So to see Madison swinging more and more Democrat, I understand that, because the Republicans kind of didn't want to pay them well, and that's why they kind of had to strike and stuff like that. If I'm not mistaken, and if I am mistaken, please put it in the comment section if you know more about Madison, or if you're from that area and maybe you have a family member who was a teacher, and tell me exactly what it was. Because I believe, if I'm not mistaken, I believe it was that they strike or they went to Madison House of Representatives or something like that and demanded for more pay and stuff like that. But just let me know and let's go from there. So let me continue seeing what he say. Oh, seemed that something must have happened. What happened? Let's go back.
Right here, and this is following exactly that pattern. The mail vote was reported out quickly here. Harris had a gigantic lead with that, and with every update since of the election day vote, Trump has been chipping away at it, and you're at 80% right now. Vote is coming out in Wisconsin tonight is the absentee vote. We may get absentee vote a little bit later from some of these counties. It's done at the municipal level, but there could be opportunities here for Harris to grow the support. This is not like Pennsylvania, where this is just all Republican gains later on. So we want to keep an eye on here, because the Democrats want to get Harris over 40% in Waukesha. They want to keep making gains here. And so with 40% in, you're at about the 2020 level. And this is the other one. Ozaukee County, of all the counties in Wisconsin, this one has the second highest level of educational attainment. That is, people with college degrees. Democrats have been doing much better with this demographic. This showing for Joe Biden in Ozaukee County in 2016, I don't know why I did that, 2020, this showing for Joe Biden, he lost by 12 points, was the best showing for a Democrat in this county since Lyndon Johnson in 1964. So this is one tonight where you want to see if Harris is further improving on this, getting this down, into single digits, 5, 7, 8 points, something like that. So far, a little bit more than a quarter of the vote in. This would be a very good number for Democrats out of Ozaukee County. These suburbs right outside Milwaukee used to win Wisconsin for Republicans. Democrats have been eroding that support for Republicans. If they can do more, that's big for them tonight. They get more. They're probably going to need more tonight. So again,
I want to know what happened. All right. Well, you know what? Let's check something now. Let's see what NBC is talking about here.
expected, takes it. So that's a Midwest hold for Kamala Harris and the Democrats. Let's look at the breakdown here.
I mean, it was obvious that she was going to take
An
Illinois.
easy victory as expected, and so we can fill out one more state on our road to 270 map. The state of Illinois going to Kamala Harris. Let's go to Tom Llamas. You're in North Carolina, where we just heard straight from the horse's mouth. Buncombe County, right there. Asheville has been through so much with Hurricane Helene, and Sam Brock had the poll results in his hot little hands.
But were you calling him a horse? That's like, I'm not sure if it were or not. Sam's a tall drink of water, but he's no horse. He's a handsome man. So listen, along the lines of from what he was reporting, and I just checked out those Hurricane Helene counties. We can show you the ones that were affected by the floods. Let me go, hold on one second. Here we go. So these were all the counties, the 13 counties that were affected by the floods, where people could vote in other parts of the state if they weren't able to vote in their home county. It's interesting. I was going through the numbers. It doesn't look like there's any kind of drop off there. That's actually better news for the president, because there are more Trump voters out there in the western part of the state, with the exception of the blue dots like Asheville, places like that. Here's where a lot of the vote is still out: Charlotte, Mecklenburg. Look, Trump is on top right now statewide. Mecklenburg is the place where Democrats, I'm going to keep going back to Mecklenburg when we talk about North Carolina. This is Charlotte and then the surrounding suburbs. They need to drive up the vote here. It is a majority minority county. Hispanics and African Americans, they have to drive up the numbers here. When they lose races like Senate races, it's because the turnout is not where it needs to be in Charlotte. So not enough vote there. But the good news is there is vote in other places. Wake County, this is the capital, Raleigh, part of the Research Triangle. You can see.
You know what's crazy when you hear, let me put on the closed caption so you guys can see exactly what it's talking about. When they talk about with Senate races or they talk about Congress races, stuff like that, why is it that people mainly just come out for the president? This is the problem why we have things the way it is. You need to make sure you come out to vote every single election. It should be millions of people coming out to vote each and every time. It should not be that the majority of people come out every 4 years for the presidency. Because here's the thing: the most important thing is what goes on locally. Your U.S. senators, your congressmen, your congresswomen, your city councilmen, your aldermen, all these people, your mayors, your governors, you need to make sure that you vote for them. Your state assemblymen or assemblywomen, your state senators, you need to make sure that you vote for these people, because if you don't, you might get a person like, damn, why the hell this person not doing what he's supposed to do, or not doing what she's supposed to do? Oh man, did you vote for that person? Oh nah, I stayed home. Well, you get what you get, homeboy or homegirl. So make sure that y'all come out to vote each and every time. Stop dragging your feet. It is free. That's another thing. We don't even pay to vote anymore. There's no poll taxes. There's no literacy test, even though you got some of these politicians and some of these asswipe that's out there that's saying we need to bring back a literacy test. If we try to do that, all hell will break loose. It is free to vote. Exercise your right. People fought, died, bled for this right. Do what you got to do and make sure you exercise it. Let's get back to it.
And Trump is on top right now. Again, not a large county you're going to see. There's only about 10,000 votes here, but we're kind of reading the tea leaves and seeing where everything's at so far. Again, statewide, 63% in. This is the only battleground state that Trump won in 2020. That's why we're watching it so close. It was very close. It was his slimmest margin. 63% of the vote is in. We're still watching and waiting here in North Carolina. As soon as we can make a call, again, too early, you know we're going to project it, guys.
Tom, you had a little something for everybody in that, no matter who you're rooting for. We got a couple of results to read to you right now. These are ballot measures. We saw the abortion measure go down to defeat in Florida. It had a 60% threshold. In New York, it passes easily. 71% of the vote is the margin there. We'll go to Maryland. There was also an abortion rights measure, and that easily passes as well. Both of those blue states. Let's bring Laura Jarrett into this conversation, because we do have 10 states that have these ballot measures, and obviously Democrats have hoped that would help their fortunes, and especially in these battleground states.
New York, obviously not a place where people think of abortion rights under threat, but the initiative there was broader than just about abortion. It had to do with anti-discrimination principles more generally, reproductive health care a part of that, but it was also about pregnancy and the like. And so that's why it was even on the ballot in a place like New York.
Wow.
You think about a place like South Dakota, a completely different story. We still have to wait to see what happens there. Arizona, a different story. Missouri, we still don't have enough in to be able to make a call on that.
And forgive me. Let's see if the brain's still working here at 9:45.
You got a big set of cards there,
this is a late night for the Today Show. But Nebraska has 2 measures, doesn't it?
It does.
1 for, 1 against.
1 for, 1 against, and so we'll see how that
So
one
which
shakes
one
out.
wins? The one with the raw vote?
The one that has
majority?
the one that has the majority, but we don't have enough in to make a call on
And
that
of course,
one
there
yet.
have been other states that went this road prior to tonight.
Many states that had went this road and had been able to reach the threshold to pass it, Lester. That's why the Florida situation was interesting, obviously, as we've been discussing, different because of the threshold there. But you think about a place like Michigan, places like Ohio had managed to get it through in the past.
We have another presidential projection here we can put up on the screen here and walk you through it. I see it as you see it. NBC News projects Donald Trump will take the state of Ohio with 17 electoral votes. There is the breakdown of 441,000 vote difference now. 64% of the vote in Ohio. And again, Donald Trump is the winner there. And there's where it takes us on the road to 270. Donald Trump out in front with 185 electoral votes. Harris with 81.
All right, let's go to Savannah Sellers. We always need not 1, but 2 Savannahs sitting at the desk at any time, if
Got it
possible.
covered.
Hey, listen, I know that some of us or some voters might be afraid to see what's going on. But listen, guys, like I said before, if your candidate loses, the world is going to go on. Okay? The world is going to go on, guys. We just have to know that we exercised our vote and we chose who we felt would be the right person, whether it's Harris, whether it's Trump. Please don't go out there acting crazy if your person loses. If Trump loses, I just hope that he says, hey, listen, you know what? I concede, blah, blah, blah. Congratulations, VP Harris or presidential-elect Harris. Don't be like, oh, I feel that I won this, that, and the third, because all that's going to do is going to cause more people to decide to lose their marbles. And next thing you know, you're going to have problems. So please don't do that, Trump, if you lose. And Harris, if you lose, do the same thing. Just congratulate Trump and keep it moving because the world goes on. We don't need any chaos. There's too many people out here talking about doom and gloom. Too many people out here talking about that. Oh, it's going to be the purge or it's going to be some craziness like that. I don't think so. I think the candidates are smart enough to understand that it's bigger than their asses, and they will do what needs to be done to make sure that it's a smooth transition, and that's it. But only time can tell. We just have to see what goes on. Let's check out, let's see what Fox is saying. Okay, Fox is still just, let's see, live. Yeah, Fox is just doing, this is just election news results. So let me check out, let's see what, let's see what Steve Kornacki is saying. And shout out to Kornacki. I mean, this man is a wonderful human being. He is always out there doing what needs to be done, telling us about the elections. Wonderful guy. You know, shout out to him. Let's see if he's saying anything. Yeah, shout out to him. You know, it's very, very, very good to see that he's getting the shine that he's gotten. I used to watch him a lot, you know, in my younger years when I was leaning more towards the Democratic side before I became a full-blown independent. I used to watch MSNBC a lot, my grandmother, my mom, and stuff like that. But because I'm an independent, it's a lot of family functions or family dinners that kind of go where my mom want to pick up a pot spoon and bop me over the head. because she feels that, oh, you're not voting who you're supposed to vote for and stuff like that. So, we'll just see how it goes and, just try to our best and look forward. But guys, this is an amazing, amazing night. As I said, I wish them the best. I hope that Trump wins. But hey, if he loses, the world goes on. I'm going to still make money and still work and continuously do what I have to do, even if he loses. So I'm not really worrying about it. I just say, hey, I am happy to see that it's finally coming to an end. And we just continue going about it and doing what we have to do. It is it's been weird. It's been weird. And I can honestly say that I am happy that it's finally coming to an end, guys, because it's been a hard time. It's been a very, very hard time. It's been ridiculous. The back and forth, the this and the that, and Ray, and but we see a lot, and I hope for the best. I hope for the best for this country. I love America. I don't want America to be in any crazy wars. I don't want a World War VIII to happen because of globalists or politicians that are neoconservative, warmongers who don't really care about the youth who has to fight. They always say that wars are brought on us by older men and women, but are fought by young men and women. So I don't want to be in that situation. I want to make sure that I can be here, watch my kids grow, and be able to do the things for the people that I love and I care about so that I can be here for a long time and I can grow into an old age. But we just have to see, guys. We just have to see how it goes. It can be scary because we want our candidate to win, but hopefully America makes the right choice where they choose a candidate who is going to get us out of these wars instead. Well, we're not in any wars per se, but we are in proxy wars where we support certain countries and the way that they do things. I don't think it's right at all. I feel that if a country has a squabble with another country, let them two handle it. We need to get out of it. Now, if they want to buy weapons from us, cool. You have Boeing or some other military companies that create guns or warships or whatever. If they want to buy it, no problem. But we do not give them direct military aid. We can give them food. We can give them aid when it comes to things like that. If they want to borrow money from us, cool, they can do that. But to give them military aid to fight a quote unquote enemy that we deem as our enemy, that's wrong. We need to stay out of people's business for real, because we never know when those countries that we support might get us into something, and now we have to do something because we went and supported a country that we shouldn't have. But let's get to Steve Kornacki. I believe he's talking.
Same day, and it's kind of unclear in a lot of these counties. We just don't have enough to say. But one county where we're getting real close, and I think is going to be a very big indicator here, we've talked about this, is Lackawanna County, where Scranton is, and now 90% of the vote is in. And we were looking at this a few minutes ago, and we were saying again that we expected Trump to close, to cut into the lead that Harris had. It was at about 6.5, 7 before. Now with 90%, and you can see he's cut it a little bit. It's down to 5 points. And remember what we're looking for in Lackawanna County. There's two very different ways this has played out in the last two elections. In 2016, Donald Trump got close to only about 3 points behind here. He won the state of Pennsylvania. In 2020, Democrats with Joe Biden came in and won this by more than 8 points. Biden won the state. So we were saying at the start of the night, Trump wants this number, Democrats want that number. Right now, it's sitting right in between them. It's sitting at 5. So there's still some same day to come in. Let's see this remaining 10%, what that does to this margin. Again, the same day seems to be favoring Trump. How much is it going to favor Trump? Is it going to bring it down back to this level completely? Is it going to stabilize? But that's the most complete county we have in Pennsylvania right now. And I think we said at the start of the night, it's a very key one because this region where Scranton is, where Lackawanna County is, this is very contested political terrain. I could just show you some of the other counties here. Luzerne County, this is where Wilkes-Barre is. This is also where the city of Hazleton is. Hazleton is a majority Hispanic city. Donald Trump actually won Hazleton in 2020. Again, Trump campaign thinks it can make more gains with Hispanic voters. If they do, you'll see it here. About half the vote is in Luzerne County. And again, the same day is what's still to come here. So Trump's leading by 8 points now. He won this county by more than 14 in 2020. Question for the Trump campaign wants to get over that number. They want to improve on that number here. If the Democrats can stop them from doing that, that's a big development for Democrats. We want to go back and look at Georgia because, again, and Joy was just talking about this, the suburban support for Democrats in this Atlanta metro area. Something interesting is happening. There are some suburban counties here. We call them kind of the emerging suburbs of the Atlanta metro area, where the growth is the fastest and the diversification is the most dramatic. And that is definitely where Harris is posting improvements tonight. I think we showed you Douglas County a few minutes ago. Again, rapid growth here. It's about half black. And you can see in 2020, 25 points. Tonight, Harris is winning this by 32 points. You see it in Rockdale County. Just about all of the vote is in here. Biden got 70%. Harris has pushed that up to 73. This is a majority black county. You can go to Newton County here. You know, this was the tightest margin of all these Atlanta metro counties. This was the tightest margin for a county that Democrats won almost all in 2020. Almost all the vote is in. Harris has improved on it. You see this. You could take a look at Henry County. Almost 80% of the vote is in. Again, Biden won it by 20. Look at that. That's up to 30 or so for Kamala Harris. So the thing is, though, the counties I just showed you.
If Harris takes Georgia, and this is just a prediction, Trump has a long road to go. I don't think that she would take Georgia because Trump was leading in the polls about 2 percentage points in the polls. But if Harris takes Georgia, it's gonna be crazy for Trump. It's gonna be crazy for Trump. Now, as I said before, yes, I want Trump to win. Full disclosure, I voted for him last week. But if Harris wins, I'm okay because I'm gonna figure out a way to make money, and you should too. You should figure out a way to make money and say, hey, listen, no matter who is president, no matter who makes the laws, I'm gonna make money. I'm gonna do what I have to do. I have faith in God or Yahweh or Jehovah or Buddha or whoever you decide that is your God that you pray to. You know that you have that faith that you're gonna do what you gotta do. Simple as that. Simple as that.
Here, Joe Biden won this by 14 points. Now, right now, it's basically a 15-point margin. This is another one where that margin for Democrats was bigger earlier. It's come down as more same day has come in. And Cobb is a massive, massive county. Again, it's much bigger than any of those others that I just showed you. 82% more same day to come. That's concerning for Democrats if it starts dropping below that. And then Gwinnett County, this is the one that's been the slow one here in the region tonight. We're still where we were. So there's sort of a division here we're seeing between these suburban and metro counties here. Again, there's some clear Democratic growth, but they don't want slippage in those big ones as the remaining vote comes in. And again, just checking in, we showed you Cherokee. These are the big Republican sort of fringe Atlanta metro counties. Here's one, Forsyth County, where Trump is clearly has improved, I should say, a bit from 2020, a point higher than 2020. You can go over excuse me, you can go over to Paulding County, though. This is interesting. Again, core Republican area, fast growing. Dallas, Georgia is here. 29 points for Trump last time around, down to 24. So again, that's a feather in the Democrats' cap right there in Paulding County, bringing that Trump number down further. And finally, we close out on this. We're basically done in Fayette County. We ID'd this one at the start of the night as, look, if Democrats were actually flipping this, they are definitely having a good night in Georgia. Looks like they're going to come short. Harris has made progress here in his big suburban county here. Harris has made progress from 7 points, now sitting at 3 points. But is that progress enough for Democrats?
Wow. And we know one thing that we have to say as well, like I said, they both ran some good campaigns. They did. But for Harris to come in this situation and just be pushed in it, not elected by the people to say, hey, look, or selected by the people that they want her to run, but to come in and to close the gap. Because let's be honest, if Biden was still running, we would be saying that Trump would probably win by a landslide. And that's why they took Biden out. They said, hey, listen, homeboy, go sit on a chair, on a recliner somewhere. Time for Harris to come in and do what we have to do. But it's amazing to see how close it's becoming. I'm shocked. I'm shocked to see that it is as close as it is. It seems that possibly the polls were correct. So many people were saying that the polls are not correct. This, that, and third, or Harris is winning, or Trump is winning, this, that, and third. But it seems that the polls are correct. That it's very, very tight. We may not know who is going to be our elected or president-elect tonight. It's probably going to be into tomorrow or by the end of the week or probably into next week. We don't know. We don't know. But how I look at it is I wish them the best and I want the best person for the job. Let's check out NBC and see exactly what they are saying. So let's see what they're saying.
Finally, out west, the great battleground state of Arizona.
Let's see if they
In
talk
Pittsburgh
anything else.
and
All right, here we
Allegheny
go.
County here, 66% of the vote, and let's compare it
Turn
to
off the
2020.
closed caption.
Slightly overperforming. That's good news for Harris because that's what she needs to do there if she wants to win the state of Pennsylvania. And look at this, Butler County. You'll remember that's where that first assassination attempt took place. Just
Yo, the
miles from
assassination
Pittsburgh. Look
attempt
what
was
a different
crazy.
places is. Trump is on top. 71% of the vote is in. He got 65 in 2020, 65%. He's now at 64. He's essentially performing where he needs to be. I also want to see how the vote is in these Western communities, Western PA communities, because fracking was a big issue here. Vice President Harris had to change her position on that. Washington County, right here on the border, Trump with 60% of the vote. Let's see how he did compared to 2020. It's about the same. Westmoreland right next to here. It butts up against Allegheny County. 47% of the vote is in. He's at 65. So he's kind of where his marks were in 2020. Remember, he has to do a little bit better. Erie's the one that we're going to be watching. This is the big swing county. We only have 1% in. The reason why we're watching this is because Erie almost always picks the winner of the election here. But we only have 1% in Erie County, but we'll be watching that. Let's move east now because I know we have a lot of people from the Philadelphia area on the anchor desk tonight. See what's happening over there. Let's start in Chester County. Okay, so I'm going to give a quick whip around here. 2020, remember, so Harris has to drive up the vote in the suburbs just like Biden did and try to turn out that vote in Philadelphia County. So Chester's one of those ring counties. Let's move over to Delaware County here.
Just to say, guys, if you guys want to come on, let me know. I put the link in the comment section. So I'm still trying to figure out how to do things. But if you guys want to come on and discuss the election, let me know. You don't have to cam up. We can discuss it and have a cordial discussion. We're not going to argue. We're not going to curse at each other. We're just going to talk and have a gentlemanly or friendly debate. Let's say it like that.
Neighboring suburb areas, counties. They say Southern Bucks might be a little bit more Trump country. That may have changed this election. We're going to have to wait and see. But you can see here the numbers aren't as high as they were, with 24% in, 56% of the vote. Trump's going to have to try to run up the vote a little bit here if he wants to do better. I'm going to look at one more area before I send it to you guys. This is the swing care. Northampton almost always picks the winner in Pennsylvania. This is Easton. This is Bethlehem. That's that whole Lehigh Valley area there. Biden was at 49. Harris was right there. Look, guys, it's tough to draw any kind of information on who's on top or who's lower right now. Still too close to call. Trump's on top, but only about 17,000 votes. You remember the spread in 2020 was about 80,000 votes. So a lot of votes still out here. One thing I do want to mention, there was an exit poll out of Pennsylvania on Latino voters, and they broke for Trump in a major way. That could possibly be a deciding effect here in Pennsylvania, because you're talking about 600,000 Latinos that are registered to vote. Guys, back to you.
Can we talk a minute about the amount of money that has been spent?
That is crazy to hear. So in Pennsylvania, the Latino vote broke for Trump. That's crazy. That's crazy. Wow.
Presidential campaign. One state.
Isn't that so funny? Because it started out as a tie, and now tonight we're ending up, and it's a tie right now. But we'll see what happens.
Yeah, we're going to be living and breathing Pennsylvania.
That's interesting, though, what Tom just mentioned about the exit poll. And again, do your caveats, but for Trump to win the Hispanic vote in Pennsylvania would be pretty huge, because there's a big Hispanic population in Pennsylvania, especially in Lehigh Valley.
That's right. There's a big Puerto Rican population in Pennsylvania too, the most of any battleground. So let's talk about where that is. And I want to start with the national Latino vote here. And Savannah, love you for the grain of salt caveat. We know that these exit polls could shift a little bit, but here's what's so interesting here. It is Kamala Harris, of course, the vice president, who is winning the Latino vote over former President Trump, 53% to 45%. This is nationwide. But the number that you want to look at is this 45%. That is because of the overperformance of former President Trump nationally among the Latino vote. And you can see it here. He's 45% this year. 2020, I mean, this is a double-digit plus overperformance from where he was just 4 years ago. And if you get into some of these key battlegrounds, Tom mentioned Pennsylvania. We were just talking about Nevada, looking at my clock where the polls closed like 7 minutes ago. It is a similar story here. If we can pull up Nevada, you can see Latino voters, about 17% of the electorate there, broke for Kamala Harris, 48% to Trump, Donald Trump, 46%. But again, it's about the overperformance. He is doing better with this group than he did 4 years ago, again, by a double-digit margin over the course of 4 years. So as I walk back to the desk, I will tell you, this is something, and Chris and I know will back me up on this, as we've been talking to our sources around the Trump campaign. What did we hear again and again? That they thought they were going to overperform with Black and Latino voters, Latino men. An interesting and important story here tonight, guys.
I want to bring in someone from our insider's desk right now. Jim Messina was campaign manager for President Obama's reelection in 2012. Jim, what are you seeing here right now? And what are each of the sides telling themselves based on this data?
Yeah, it's a great question. So Tom just showed the most important two counties that I'm following.
It is crazy to hear that even with everything that happened, it seems that Latinos said, hey, listen, you know what? That corny joke that comedian made, that is not going to sway me from voting for Uncle Trump. That is amazing. It's great to hear. That would mean that the race in Pennsylvania is going to be even closer than we may think. And if Trump takes Pennsylvania, listen, that's the state to win right there. If Trump wins Pennsylvania, and then he wins Georgia, and he wins North Carolina, Trump is over. He has it. He has 270. So we have to see. We have to see exactly what goes on. But I think that Trump, he might just take it. He might just take it. That this would be an amazing thing, but you just have to see. It's we just have to see. We just have to see. So what I'm going to do real quick is I am going to go to the road to 220 map, and I will toy with it a little bit and see what we can do. So I'm going to reset the map real quick. And right now, like I said, the way it's looking is that Trump is going to win Arizona, and he will possibly win North Carolina. Now, Georgia still hasn't been called. We don't know. But if Trump wins Georgia, and let's say Harris wins Nevada, let's say if Harris wins Nevada and Harris wins Wisconsin and Michigan, PA is where it's at, right here. That's where it's at. Whoever wins PA wins the election. Pennsylvania, I can see why Harris put her campaign location in Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania is the big battleground state right now. Right now, Pennsylvania is the big battleground state. So, as I said, guys, again, I'm going to show it again. If Trump wins Georgia, North Carolina, and even if he loses Nevada, he needs to win PA. And let's say Harris wins Wisconsin and Michigan. He needs to win PA. Now, let's just say for giggles that Harris does not take Wisconsin. Trump wins. So the way, really and truly, I'm going to show it again, really and truly, right now, with the way it's going, if Trump wins North Carolina and Georgia, he only needs one of these three. And like I said, even if Harris wins Nevada, if Harris wins Michigan, and let's even say Harris wins Pennsylvania, she still got to win. She has to sweep the blue wall. For Harris to win this right now with the way it's looking, she needs to sweep the blue wall. But we'll just see. We'll just see what happens. Let's get back to Steve Kanaki and see what Kanaki Cam has to say.
If you compare this to 2020, when this number came out in 2020, Joe Biden had a high single-digit advantage over Harris in that initial batch in Maricopa County. If you remember, the story in 2020 all week was Trump trying to play comeback in Arizona. This is his starting point now in Maricopa. Also, the other big population center in Arizona, this is Pima County, where Tucson is. This is the more Democratic of the two big counties here. Again, basically the same deal. You've got this initial batch here that's half the vote. Again, Biden, you can see where he ran here in 2020. You can see what Harris is getting right now. But what will still be coming out later tonight in Pima will be that same day vote. So we'll see how that affects the count. And again, in Arizona, if we get through tonight and this thing is still very, very close, you're kind of locked in probably for a few days of results just because of that pace, where once a night you'll kind of get updates from these counties. So the question here obviously is, if somebody gets a clear advantage, this is the statewide number right now, half the vote has been counted out. We'll see in the coming hours if there's clear separation between these candidates at all. Otherwise, it could take some time there in Arizona. I want to return to Pennsylvania because I think we've got a pretty big development here in part of the story we've been following all night. We have been flagging Lackawanna County, big one where Scranton is, heart of Northeast Pennsylvania, a very contested region here politically. And the question has been, what would this land at? And you're now basically looking at it. This is probably it in Lackawanna County. And Kamala Harris is going to, this is where Scranton is. Kamala Harris, you see, winning this by 3 points over Donald Trump. But remember, we were using this as a gauge because in 2020, Joe Biden won this by 8.5 points, won the state. In 2016, Donald Trump lost this only by about 3.5 points, 3.4 points. This was a winning combination for Donald Trump. He won the state. This was a losing combination for Donald Trump. Tonight, at 3.1 points, his loss here in Lackawanna County is actually a little bit less than the 2016 margin. This was one of our key questions in Pennsylvania tonight. Would Donald Trump get back to his 2016 level in a big blue-collar county like this? Because there are a lot of big blue-collar counties like this throughout the contested northern tier of the battleground. This I'm flagging for you because we said it at the start of the night. We'd use this as a bellwether also because this is now the complete one. We've been looking for complete counties. We've got a complete county here. So that's what it lands at right there. That was the question we asked. We now have an answer. Luzerne County, another biggie. Again, this is all big blue-collar counties, northeast Pennsylvania, slowly getting that same day, that election day vote counted up. Trump's lead now is 11 points. This is where Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania is. He needs to hit this number and probably surpass it. So keep an eye as this remaining vote comes in. But like Lackawanna, that's what we're looking at. One other thing to note here. Now, look, half the vote is in. Philadelphia County is the same thing as Philadelphia City. They're the exact same thing. So that's what you're looking at here. We got half the vote in. And you see, Harris is going to win this thing in an absolute landslide. The question in Philadelphia has been the margin, because what we saw in 2020 was ever so slightly.
Well, we have to understand, guys, as I said, Pennsylvania is where it is. That's going to be key, because if Trump wins the Sunbelt states, it only takes one of those states. And I don't think that he's going to win Michigan. Wisconsin, maybe. I don't think he might win Wisconsin. Pennsylvania is all or nothing, guys. That's where it's at. That is where it's at. And we may not know tonight. We may not know tomorrow. But we're going to find out. We're going to find out. So we just have to see. We just have to see, guys. Let me hear what else he has to say.
Expected about midnight that they're going to release that second batch of vote by mail ballots. So as we get closer there, we're going to follow this and see if Trump can maintain this 20%. Maybe even he grows it. That would be fantastic news for him if he does that. But at about midnight, a very big batch of what are going to be very Democratic-friendly votes are going to come in. And so that may answer or really get us close to an answer on this other key question we're asking in Pennsylvania. Are the Democrats able to hold what they have in Philadelphia and maybe even win back the lost ground from 2020? Or does Trump make further inroads? Because, again, this is a county where the Democrats won by about 470,000 votes in 2020. They want to hit that margin. They want to go higher on that margin tonight. So that's the drama in Philadelphia as this other half of the vote comes in. And we could just zoom right out and see. Oh, I was going to zoom out and show you the running statewide total, and I clicked Ohio for some reason. There you go. A little bit more than half statewide. That is Trump's lead statewide, but it's very spotty in terms of where you're seeing votes. Oh, there's one more I did want to flag for you. This is Cumberland County, because we do have about 3/4 of the vote in here. Why Cumberland County? Because we don't talk much about it, but there's a lot of population in this region of Pennsylvania. You got Lancaster County, you got York County. Here you got Cumberland County, Carlisle, Pennsylvania is in here. This is actually, you see red right now, this has been a growth area for Democrats. There's a lot of fast-growing suburbs in here. Again, demographically very conducive to the Democratic coalition, right across the river from Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. So Democrats made gains here in 2020. This was actually a very good performance for Joe Biden. Now you see, with almost 3/4 of the vote in, Trump's a little bit short of that number. That was a bad number for him, and he's a little bit short of it now. But this is the thing to look for.
It's amazing. Listen, I can't wait for all this to be over. I mean, I love it. I, live and breathe the news. I love watching the news, but let me tell you, this election right here has been one of the most craziest, outrageous in my lifetime. I've never lived through a president almost being assassinated. I mean, Uncle Trump is like the Teflon Don, because he survived one assassination attempt, and then somebody, was peeking through a bush with a gun and maybe tried to assassinate him at that time. So to see what's going on, man, oh man, oh man, this is amazing, an amazing, amazing time to be alive. And we just have to be thankful that we are able to see it. And as I said, whoever you vote for, if your candidate wins, cool. If your candidate doesn't win, cool. Life goes on. Just make sure that you don't do anything crazy if your candidate loses. Take the election as it is and just say, hey, you know what? Better luck next time. That's all you got to say. Do not, I repeat, do not go out there and be crazy. We do not need that, guys. We need you to be alive because you possibly have friends and families that care about you. Don't go crazy. Just allow this to play out and be like, okay, cool. That is it. Let's hear more from Kanaki.
County in 2020 with about 3/4 of the vote in. And if you remember at the start of the night, we had all of that mail that was dropped in Allegheny County. Trump's been trying to chip away at that sense. We got to see with this remaining 25% of the vote if he can get back to that 2020 level here. Democrats really want to grow this. The other question we're going to try to get an answer on here too is if there is remaining vote by mail in Allegheny County, because we say that's the wild card in Philadelphia now.
Let's switch to NBC and see what they're talking about.
As well with Hispanic voters as they may with college-educated whites or even African.
And we saw the Trump campaign hammer some of those issues
Over
in
and over.
ads over and over again. Take a break right here. Coming up next, things are heating up. The votes are rolling in. We've got the latest on the battleground states, and we're inching closer to that 270 mark. Stay with us. Election night rolls on.
All right. So I'm going to take a break myself. Actually, you know what? No, let's see. Let's go to the let's pull up the map and let's restart it again. So let's look at this map real quick, guys. All right. So right now we see that Trump is leading in North Carolina and Trump is leading in Nevada. Georgia is still too close to call, but let's just say Trump takes Georgia. Yes, 268. He still needs to break this blue wall. He still needs to break this blue wall, guys. Now, let's say Harris wins Wisconsin and Michigan. Well, here it is. Pennsylvania, guys. Pennsylvania is going to be key. This is going to be a tight race. Possibly even maybe by less than 100,000 votes will decide it. But Pennsylvania is where it is. Pennsylvania, in my opinion now, I could be wrong. We could possibly have that Harris takes Georgia. And if Harris takes Georgia, now, of course, we have Pennsylvania that needs to be played. But what if Harris takes Georgia and takes Nevada? She wins. So we don't know exactly what could happen. I'm here only trying to put my prediction in it. I do feel that, in my opinion, Trump is going to take North Carolina, he's going to take Georgia, and he's going to take Nevada. But I think that Harris would take Wisconsin and she will take Michigan. And Pennsylvania will be the deciding state. And I think, in my opinion, since Harris put Pennsylvania as her campaign headquarters. Her headquarters is in Pennsylvania. Who knows? That might turn the tide, guys. And she might win Pennsylvania. So we have to look at it and say, okay, these things can happen. But we'll see. We'll see, guys. We will see. It is amazing, amazing, amazing. Let's get to NBC and see what they're talking about here.
And 2020. That's what decided the vote. Trump won in 2016. Biden flipped it in 2020. Right now, 47% of the votes in. We want to dive a little deeper and look at some of these counties. We're going to start with the biggest one, Milwaukee. Again, we're still waiting for a lot of the vote in Milwaukee. We're expecting this a little later in the night. 51% is in. Let's see how Harris is doing compared to Biden 4 years ago. She's down about 3 points, 3 or 4 points, 2 points, actually, we should say. But we're still waiting on the vote there. Let's go over to Madison. This is Dane County. This is where the University of Wisconsin is. This is one of the fastest growing areas of the state here. 75% for Biden in 2020. She's 2 points down, but again, 75% of the vote is still out. Let's talk about the Republicans now. We talk about the WOW counties. These are the counties around Milwaukee. The first one, Waukesha here. Trump's at 59.6. 77% of the vote is in. He's slightly underperforming by a percentage point or two. Let's go over here to the O and WOW, Ozaukee, 55. He's at 54. So, a slight change, but almost around the same margins. And then Washington doing much better. 50% of the vote is in, 49. He was at 68 in 2020. He's now up to 70. The other part where they do well in the other part of the state, in Green Bay, it's called the BOW. So yes, it's the BOW counties and the WOW. Bow wow. I know that's pretty funny, but maybe it's not that
Bow
funny.
wow.
Anyways, Brown is Green Bay.
It'll pass.
Trump is 52%. He's
Bow
up,
wow.
he's up
What
big
in the
time here,
world?
but again, only 33% of the vote is in, and there are a lot of Democratic votes in Green Bay as well. We're going to come down here to the O and BOW Outagamie, 54-57. Again, he's overperforming there. And then finally in Winnebago, 36%. I want to show two more counties you guys may have heard of. You may not have. Racine, these are suburbs of Milwaukee, getting closer to Chicago. These were counties that Trump flipped from Obama, and then he held them 4 years later.
Wow.
15% in. Trump was at 51.68. That's a strong number for him. We go to Kenosha, which has been in the headlines, especially after the George Floyd protests. 50% in 2020, 73% in. He's overperforming there. So if you're looking at Wisconsin right now, I mean, the Republicans have some sort of positivity here that they're looking at. Sauk County is one of these counties that we watch that usually picks the winner of Wisconsin. Sauk is one, and Dorr is the other one. You've probably heard of Dorr if you've been following the political headlines lately. Our data at a Dorr is a little skewed right now, so we're going to wait till the numbers get corrected.
Can you imagine if Trump wins Wisconsin? If Trump wins Wisconsin, because all he needs is to turn one. He wouldn't even need to win Pennsylvania. If he could win Wisconsin and he wins the Sun Belt states, he got it. He's over 270. So we just have to see, guys. This is an amazing time to be alive.
Fact alert from Tom. Welcome to the fun fact. Yes, exactly. Let's go to Stephanie Gosh. She's in Philadelphia and Pennsylvania. A lot of hopes riding on Pennsylvania for the Harris campaign. What do you know?
Yeah, there certainly are, Savannah. We are here in Philadelphia at the tabulation center. This is where they're going through all those mail-in ballots. And, we've been noticing in recent weeks and months kind of a lessons learned category from 4 years ago. And this place is a perfect example of some of those lessons that have been learned. You may remember in 2020, the tabulation of the mail-in ballots in Philadelphia took place in downtown Philadelphia, and it was basically chaos. Now they're in this entirely new building. It is secured by a fence with barbed wire, and they are doing tabulation inside here. We're actually not allowed inside, but it's going on as we speak right now.
Wow.
And one of the unknowns back in 2020 at the end of the night was, well, just how many mail-in ballots are there out there? We don't know. Well, tonight, right before midnight, we're going to get a briefing here from the city commissioner, from Seth Bluestein. He's going to tell us how many of those mail-in ballots from Philadelphia have been processed and how many they have yet to process, to give an idea of how much more time it is going to take. All of that, more transparency, this more security, so things go much more smoothly. Savannah?
All right. Thank you, Stephanie.
Wow.
Back with our
That's
panel and
amazing.
guests,
That's
former
amazing.
Missouri Democratic
That's
Senator
amazing.
Claire McCaskill and Mark Lauder, former Director of Strategic Communications for the Trump 2020 campaign. Good to have you both back. How's the blue wall looking right now, Senator?
Well, you know what? I just got to say, with the exception of brave Ann Seltzer and her poll in Iowa, where clearly she did not get it right, it looks like the pollsters got it right in this election
Yeah, it
because
seems that they did.
I'm looking at these blue walls. If you look at Berks County, Harris is underperforming. You look at Lancaster County, she's overperforming. It's going to be razor close. I don't think there's any question. Now, what we're going to have to figure out is, do we have a country where an election can be close and people can accept the results? That's the
True.
question
Very
that
true.
I'm beginning to worry about, that if these are all really close and they go the way of Donald Trump, I don't think there'll be any problem.
Well, Mark, we live in a 50-50 world. I mean, we do. I mean,
We really do.
And it's not going to stop after, Wednesday or beyond.
No, and one of the things I'll tell you, I'm looking at right now is Philadelphia itself, because while Kamala Harris has her margin, the numbers aren't there. She's about 2 points behind right now of where Joe Biden was, but there was
True.
a 471,000 vote difference
Mm.
to offset the rural areas. Right now, with 50% of the vote in, the last time I looked, she's on pace for maybe 390,000, maybe 400 or so thousand. That's if the current margins hold, and that's a projection. She needs to be above 450.
Yeah.
And if we're down there in that right, because right now it's about 190,000 vote difference with 50% in.
It's early, but I mean, it seems like what we're gleaning from exit
Wow.
polls and other data is that the Trump campaign is overperforming, doing very well with Hispanic voters and young men. That Joe Rogan army appears to be real in a lot of these places. Is that what you're seeing, Mark?
No, absolutely. I think they're very excited by that, and they also see that they're overperforming in rural areas. I think they're trying to cut their losses in the urban areas and in some of the suburbs. It's not always working, but I think in some of these key battleground states.
Because you have to understand that a lot of young men, and I wouldn't say me included, but men are tired. Okay. A lot of young men are tired of the BS. We are tired of the lack of proper good paying jobs. We are tired of the situations that we see, that you have these crazed individuals who feel that they can define what a woman is and what a man is. No, a woman or a female is born with 2 X chromosomes. A male is born with an X and a Y chromosome. That's it. You cannot turn a man into a female, and you cannot turn a woman into a male. It's not going to happen. But because we see a lot of craziness going on, and then we have to think about the economy, and then we have to think about immigration. With all these people coming in, people are afraid. People are tired. People feel that, hey, these people might try to come and take my job or replace me or whatever with a low-wage worker. And next thing you know, I got to fight for low wages. We're tired of it. We want to see things different. We want to see that this country is going on the right path. We see that 75% of Americans feel that the country is not going on the right path. And now we have a candidate who is running on the same path, saying that, hey, I'm not going to change much things more than what Biden had. And we have a candidate who's saying that, hey, I want to be a reformer. I want to change things. I want to make sure that you have more money in your pocket. I want to go back and make sure that the price gouging inflation rates that we had right here over the past 4 years is gone. Will it happen? Will your candidate win? Will Trump win? Will Harris win? We do not know. We just have to keep seeing. We just have to keep going. So that's all I have to say.
Was a danger to democracy, but she also looked to make the positive case for herself and why she should get another 4 years. Her campaign spent so much time in places like Wisconsin. Think about that Ripon visit, the birthplace of the Republican Party, bringing out Liz Cheney, former congresswoman on the Republican side. I think everybody knows who the Cheney family is, trying to reach out to this tiny slice of people who aren't quite totally in their tribal corners. former President Trump looked to supercharge his base.
But
Savannah.
it's so interesting because you say it's a tiny number, and it is, but these were Haley voters, a lot of them. I mean, Kamala Harris went around with Liz Cheney, and they went to these
Adam
color counties.
Kinzinger, all these, yes.
And in Arizona, we saw, Jimmy McCain and some of these big names, former Republicans, Jeff Flake, who are out there. She was trying to find those moms.
Hey, listen, here's another thing that people have to talk about. When you hear some of these Republicans that supporting Harris, who are they? Are they Republicans that's moderate? Or are they Republicans that are kind of neoconservatives because they are afraid that if Trump gets in, Trump is going to end these wars and Trump is going to do what needs to be done? So I think that a lot of the Republicans that's voting for Harris want more of the same. They do not want a new age. They do not want us Americans to understand that their money, big money, going to these countries to fight these proxy wars that we did not vote on. The American people did not vote to say, hey, give money to Ukraine, give money to Israel, give money to all these other countries. No, many Americans don't want to do that. Some Americans might want to, but guess what? The majority of Americans say, we want our money to be here. We want to spend money here. We're tired of working so damn hard. And we're hearing that these countries is getting billions of our tax dollars or billions in military aid to fight and blow away people that we're not even worrying about. Let them fight their own issues. If they want the military weapons, let them buy it from us or let them borrow money so we can make money as a country instead of we giving them things. We need to stop that. I'm tired of hearing these things, but hey, this is what it is. This is how it goes.
In the West, and we've got all battlegrounds closed right now and votes being counted, and too close to call is something you're going to hear me say a lot over these next few moments. That's the story in Pennsylvania, about 58% of the vote in there. In Michigan, also too close to call, the battleground state where both candidates spent a ton of time, alongside Wisconsin as well, too close to call at this hour.
As I said before, and I'll say it again, if Trump wins the Sun Belt states and he wins either one, he only needs one of the blue walls. He only needs Pennsylvania or Michigan or Wisconsin. We don't know, but we'll see. So I feel that, hey, this is going to be a race that is possibly going to be decided maybe by tomorrow or probably at the end of the week. We don't know. We don't know how fast they're going to count those votes in Pennsylvania. But it's going to be crazy, guys. It's going to be crazy. But please do not, I repeat, do not go out there and riot if your candidate loses. Just be cool about it and say, all right, cool, you know what it is. And that's it. And that's it. For real, for real.
The center of the state. This is red right now. 68% of the vote is in. Biden won this in 2020. Hillary Clinton won this in 2016. Why am I highlighting this county? Let me move the map over again. Center County. This is Penn State. This is Happy Valley. This is a university county. The Democrats should be on top right now. Again, there's 68% of the vote in. They could still catch up, but Trump is on top right now. I want to go back to Eastern PA again, which has changed because a lot of people from New York and New Jersey.
A lot of people who have their bachelor's degrees, a lot of people are saying that, hey, listen, you know what? We are starting to study more. I don't understand when they say things like, oh, it's an educated county or it's a place where there's more people with bachelor's degree. You know what that means? That means that there's more people who know how to do research. Like, I don't think that they really think it through when they say these things. If you know how to do research, you will be able to research a candidate. You will be able to say, hey, I feel that this candidate can win based off of what I have researched of their policies. That's all it is. The more educated population that we have in this country, the more we will be able to select or elect our elected officials that we want to properly lead us. We won't have a situation like the super mayor in Dalton, Illinois. We won't have a situation where you have Brandon Johnson in Chicago or even a Mayor Adams in New York. We would have a more educated population to say, hey, listen, homeboy and homegirls, you can't play that. Because if we had that, we would be able to have people that say, hey, listen, I got to come correct. I can't come and be a type of weird politician. I have to be the type of politician that is willing to put the right policies in force and willing to talk to my constituents and let them know that I am not playing in the games and I will do what needs to be done.
I'll leave it to the brilliant minds in the decision desk to figure it out when that happens. I'm not nearly that good at math, but it's starting to look a little more encouraging. And when you see the Latino vote come in, when you see some of the closing of the gap with the young voters, it's starting to add up.
Well, let me just jump in on that because there are several places, as we're starting to now at this point in the night get some trends across battlegrounds when it comes to exit polling with all the necessary caveats that you have heard by now. And there's a few places where former President Trump is making improvements from his performance 4 years ago. It is Latino voters, as you talk about, Mark. It is voters under 30, as you talk about. It is independents. He doesn't mean he's winning them, but he's doing better than he was 4 years ago. Here's where her improvement is, and this is interesting. It's with seniors. It's with voters over the age of 65. And we're starting to see that trend for her.
You pointed to me when you said
no,
seniors.
oh my gosh, Savannah,
and I just want to let everyone know.
I want to see exactly what
we talked
Fox
about
is saying.
break
So I'm going to pull up. I'm going to pull up Fox and see what they say.
Because we're chit-chatting constantly. But the seniors piece of it is interesting because think about who actually gets out and votes, right? Who is more likely to get out there and vote? It is seniors. So there's some fascinating dynamics at play. And as we're all talking about, 10:40, we're only on our first cup of coffee.
I think one of the dynamics at play as we watch these results come in that's so fascinating. You think about how close, what a tough slog Pennsylvania is as we watch this come in. And you think about that decision that she made to have
let's check out
Walz as her running mate, as opposed to Governor Josh Shapiro. So as we watch this come in, and even on the day that she made that announcement, a lot of people questioned, what would Pennsylvania look like with Shapiro on the ticket? And
Governor
you have
Shapiro,
to think folks are thinking.
well, I mean, if she loses Pennsylvania, you can guarantee that story is already being written.
If she would have chose Shapiro, it probably would have been that she would have even had a bigger lead in Pennsylvania. It could be, but we don't know. We don't know. But only time can tell. Only time can tell.
And she looked at someone who was much different. He wasn't Ivy League. He wasn't all smooth. He was relatable and a coach and somebody who really kind of oozed Midwestern relatability. And I think that she thought was an add plus as opposed to just a mirror of who she was. And, you know, I don't know if it was the right call or not. I think they're both terrific people. Either way, they're going to be around. Shapiro's not going anywhere. You may see him on a ballot in the future.
Yeah, I'm going to
That's
call
true.
it out. You seem
Shapiro
you
can possibly be
you
on the
see
ballot
end here.
in the
I
future.
don't.
Guys, remember, Harris was not selected by the American people. All right, Harris was thrown into the race. Say, hey, listen, this is who you're gonna vote for now. Instead of saying that, hey, look, let the Democrats vote for who they want. The Democrats was just given her. They pushed Uncle Biden out and said, Uncle Biden, go sit yourself down somewhere. And they said, here's the candidate that you have now. Instead of letting it go through a process, even if it would have gone to the convention and said that at the convention, the delegates will be able to choose properly and have these candidates have a situation where they can give the reasons why they should be chosen. That didn't happen. That didn't happen. So we got what we got. And a lot of people are afraid. A lot of people are saying they don't really know her. And I don't blame them. I really don't blame them. But let's see what they say.
Votes up, but now they have those reported, and based on the percent of early votes that are out, Harris is leading in the early votes that they have tabulated in this county so far, but still they haven't counted any of the precincts that reported today. That process still happening here. So you see these people coming in, they're all people who have come from the different precincts in this county. There are 156 precincts in Gwinnett County. What they're dropping off right now, you see these purple bags here, those are provisional ballots, in addition to a lot of blue bags. And the blue bags, I'm told, have official election material that had to be returned, pamphlets, things that sort of gave directions to the election workers, all of that stuff coming in now. It's coming in waves. The first wave of stuff that was brought in from precinct captains on were the memory cards with the vote. That's something that election workers tell me is a way, a thing that's changed over the years. They said they used to get everything, the election materials that had to be returned, provisional ballots, and the memory cards with the votes all at once. And because it took a while to clean up, it would take a little longer for those memory cards to come in. Now they get the memory cards first, then the rest of the materials. The memory cards, they're actually in all these little bags. You see them unzipping there. Those are from 156 different precincts. Each precinct has at least two memory cards that have the vote count from today on them. They go in here, they get processed, and they go out to the public. So they're still deep in that process right now. But let's go again to the back, because this is where we see a lot of activity happening on and off, whether it's the early votes being processed and scanned and tabulated, or mail-in ballots being opened and sorted, or provisional ballots being reviewed. So remember, the thing that we were watching in this county was what would the margins be like, because it leans Democrat. We expected Democrats to carry this county, but ultimately back in 2020, Donald Trump got 40% of the vote in Gwinnett County. And what Republicans were hoping was if they could notch that up by a couple percentage points, they could cut in to Harris's margins. And then if they also did well in Republican strongholds, could potentially carry the state. What we're seeing in turnout is turnout so
Now, if you guys don't know, Gwinnett County is like a wealthy county in Georgia. When I looking at certain properties, I wish I could live in Gwinnett County, because the properties there, beautiful. Chef's kiss. Beautiful, beautiful. I mean, the women there are beautiful too. I mean, I'm gonna say it. But I feel that, hey, if, like I said, if Trump takes Georgia, which possibly the way things are going, he's probably going to take it. And if he takes North Carolina and Nevada and Arizona, it would look like I said, he just needs one of those blue wall states. And the blue wall states can be, oh, this is amazing. The Democrat defeated in North Carolina. He's the new governor, which is an amazing thing to see. But let's check out Steve Kornacki and see what Kornacki is saying, and go from there.
Talking about this one, as that same day vote comes in, this is Wilkes-Barre, this is Hazleton, another county with a substantial Hispanic population, one of the highest in Pennsylvania. Now Trump has hit his 2020 number there, and he's got a long way to go here. All that vote that's still to come in, we expect to be election day vote. The pattern, the trend is pretty clear here. So again, you're seeing Trump in good position in one of those big counties, densely populated counties in Northeast Pennsylvania. Take a look down here at Cumberland County. We talked about this one a little while ago. This was a big hope for Democrats in Pennsylvania coming into tonight. Again, 95% means basically it's all in Cumberland County. Again, 2020 looked like this. It's basically the same. It's a fraction of a point different. But that's a win for the Trump campaign, because in the context, look at this. It was an 18-point race. Trump won here by 18 points in 2016. Democrats made a huge jump. This was one of their biggest in the state in 2020, bringing it down to 10. They wanted to keep this going tonight. They didn't. Trump was able to stop the losses in Cumberland County. So again, that's something that encourages that his campaign exactly wanted to see right there. We're starting to get Erie County. Again, this would be the vote by mail in Erie County. The story we've been talking about elsewhere now is going to play out in Erie. This is the bellwether. It's one of the two that switched sides to Biden in 2020. The name of the game in the final 2/3 of the vote is, can Trump catch Harris with the election day vote? Just checking in on Philadelphia, we're up to 2/3 of the vote now in Philadelphia. And again, this is just Philadelphia, the city. And again, I think this is becoming a bit of a theme we're seeing in multiple states now, the Hispanic vote. Why did Trump make some progress? It was
Hispanic
small,
vote.
but it was there in Philadelphia in 2020. It was because he improved with Hispanic voters in Hispanic areas of the city. With 2/3 of the vote in Philadelphia now, it's 77-21. Well, that looks terrible, but compare that to 2020 and look at that. Trump is running 3.5 points better in Philadelphia than he did in 2020. Harris now 4 points off the Biden number. There is more mail to come, more vote by mail to come in Philadelphia. That will be a boost to Harris, but there's also more same day vote to come. And you can see Trump is running above his 2020 levels there. So where this lands, the Trump campaign's goal in Philadelphia, it was basically get that Biden number under 80%. So far, they're on course to do that. There's the wild card of the mail there that adds a lot of volatility to this. But again, you're starting to, as these counties fill in, you're starting to see some patterns, and patterns you're not just seeing in one state, you're seeing them in.
Here's another thing, guys. Trump might just say, hey, I won the election before the mail-in votes come. I hope whoever is handling Trump, they need to tell him, Uncle Trump, shut the hell up. Don't say anything until like 6 o'clock in the morning. Unless they call the race for you, unless they say, hey, we've counted and this is what is going on and you are leading, don't say anything. Be quiet. That's the best thing that can be done. Be quiet. Because the way that this race is going, the way that even how they count votes is ridiculous. I don't understand why the hell they have to wait. In Pennsylvania, they got to wait till 12 o'clock at night for votes to be counted. That is ridiculous. If the polls are closed and they've been closed since, let's say, 8 o'clock, you should be saying, okay, hey, look, at 9 o'clock, let's start counting these votes so we can get to know who is going to be our next president. It is ridiculous the way that they're doing it. But every state of the union has their process. This is why we have to understand this is called the United States of America. It's not called the country of America, where each and every state is controlled by just one president, and that's it. We don't elect any governors or mayors, anything. We have their monarchy. No, this is not, we're not trying to elect a king or queen. We are trying to elect a president who is going to be controlled, the executive of the central government. And we have our states, governors, mayors, and everybody who will be the quote unquote king of the state, their states or their local municipalities. That's what's going on right now. And that's what I'm seeing. But we'll see what happens. This is a wild, wild story, guys. I'm going to continue to be on for the next 20 minutes, but I am going to take a little mini break and just try to get something more to drink, and we just go from there. So I'm going to switch it to NBC, and we are going to see what they say.
Supporting Kamala Harris are feeling this evening right now. Again, a lot of numbers, a lot of data still to be counted right now. But as Claire McCaskill said a short time ago, some of the early results we're seeing in some of those places, North Carolina, Georgia, are not looking as positive as the Harris campaign had been hoping. It doesn't mean that they still don't have a path, but it does certainly increasingly mean that they'd have to succeed in holding on to that blue wall. Pennsylvania, Michigan, and Wisconsin. And frankly, speaking to some people in some of those states that are involved with the Harris campaign, they said that's where they are seeing some concern that that's going to be a tightrope that they have to still try to walk tonight. Buster?
And Peter, we were just talking here, there's a sense that the polls were in fact right. Are they getting that sense that the polls are really reflecting what we're watching?
Well, I mean, nationally, this is basically an evenly divided country, right? So the idea that our last poll showed at 49-49 is sort of a overall popular vote, that may be pretty close to where this thing ends up. But remember, for the Democrats to win the Electoral College, they generally have to have a better advantage as it relates to the popular vote. So If the country's evenly divided in terms of a popular vote, that may not be enough for the Democrats. Still a long way to go. Obviously, nobody here is leaving. They're still waiting to hear from the vice president. They recognize this may be not just a matter of hours, but days right now, and they're still hopeful that people are waiting in line, including on those college campuses. They point to campuses in Pennsylvania in particular, some of the campuses out west in Nevada. They're still circling on the map as a place they think that they're have the ability to perform well in right now. But, frankly, that's the candidate assessment for the people I'm talking to, so I pass it on to you.
Yeah, and as we said, none of the battleground states have been called as of yet, so we continue to watch.
But they're as close as they can be. Let's go to battleground Wisconsin. Shaquille Brewster in Milwaukee for us. Hi, Shaq.
Hi there, Savannah. And one thing that we're hearing is that just heard from the Milwaukee elections clerk, and they're saying that they are processing these absentee ballots. All of the early vote, all of the mail-in vote is counted here in this warehouse. And this update is despite the fact that there was a little hiccup that we saw earlier today. I'll show you what happened. It was on these tabulators that we see. And if you look closely at that red sticker there, they say that that flap was not locked. The tabulator was sealed, but the actual flap there that opens up, it was not completely locked. So what they did is they got a bipartisan group together. They went through to all of the 13 tabulators, high-speed tabulators in this entire facility, and they went through and emptied them out and restarted the count of some 30,000 ballots. Now, despite that, they say that they're moving along fairly well. When you look around here, you see at each of these stations, the election workers, the election clerks are counting those ballots. And, when you talk to operatives in the state, one thing that they're focused on is what will come from the vote here in Milwaukee. And I talked to a Republican operative who said he's feeling very good about what they're seeing on the Republican side. They say
Well, we'll see what's going on. They say Wisconsin and Michigan is too close to call, but we just have to see. This is crazy. Crazy, crazy. The polls did say that this race is very, very close. You had people that were saying that, oh, no, it's not. It's going to be a landslide. Kennedy is possibly going to have over 300 electoral votes. And that could still be the case. Once all of the votes get tallied up, that could be the case. But from the way it's looking, we may not know who is our presidential elect till tomorrow or possibly, a week from now. But let's see. Let me hear what he has to say.
Mecklenburg County all night long. This is where Democrats had to turn out the vote. This is where races are won and lost in the state of North Carolina, is in Charlotte. Clinton at 62, Biden at 66.7. Harris is at 65. Remember, she has to win this state because they lost it 4 years ago. She has to be doing better than Biden. And now I want to take you to the Black Belt. Again, these are the counties that there's not a ton of people, but they're largely African-American counties. And I'm going to go to compare this to 2020. And I want you guys to watch these numbers. Remember, the number on the left, it has to be higher. The number on the left has to be higher. So we're going to lock this in. Let's go through here and just watch. Every county, she's underperforming.
Wow.
With a lot of the vote. There's still some vote out. But in almost every county, she's underperforming. Again, this is the Black Belt, high proportion of African-American voters here, and she's underperforming. Not a population center, but if she wants to win North Carolina, she has to be doing better there. I know you were asking about Virginia. Savannah, let's take a look at Virginia. We haven't called Virginia yet, and if we, just to give you context, the last two elections, it came kind of close in 2016, about 4 percentage points, 4 or 5 percentage points. In 2020, Biden grew that lead much more. It was about 10 points there. Tonight, here's where it's at. 77% of the votes in. There's about a 2% spread.
Wow.
I'm being told by our politics desk, a lot of the vote that is out is still in the Northern Virginia suburbs. This is the Democrats' sort of their sweet spot where they're going to drive up the votes. Also, Richmond County, a lot of African-American voters there, too, that could possibly vote Democratic. But listen, Republicans have been making inroads in there as well. We can take a quick
Can you imagine if Trump takes Virginia as
well? We're going to say goodbye. We'll come back. We'll dig into those northern suburbs in just a
that would be crazy. That would be crazy if Trump was to take that. Let's get to the Electoral College map real quick. And let's say if Trump was to take Virginia. If Trump was to take Virginia and he takes North Carolina and Georgia and Nevada, he wins. He wins. He wouldn't even need anything from the blue wall. If Trump was to take Virginia, that would be crazy. That would be crazy, guys. But from how I see it, how I'm looking at it, I don't think Trump will take Virginia. I think that Virginia will go to Harris. But as I said, if Virginia goes to Harris, Harris will need to sweep the blue wall. She will need to win Wisconsin, she will need to win Michigan, and she will need to win Pennsylvania. This is going to be a very, very, very close race. Very close race, guys. It is getting wild out here. But polls are about to close in the West Coast or on the West Coast. So let's get to it and see exactly what they're discussing with those polls about to close in 1 minute.
And Kamala Harris, everybody thinks they're exactly the same on policies, but one is a woman of color and the other is a white man that everybody was really comfortable with, that were moderates and knew him well and had known him for decades. So I think you're seeing more Trump support in some of the areas where Biden could cut in. And you're not, but Virginia's going to be fine. She's going to win Virginia.
But you might see that maybe in like a Lackawanna County or something in Pennsylvania, that same dynamic that you're talking about.
Yeah.
We shall see. Okay. We want to pause just a moment. We've got a lot more to get to. Top of the hour, we're going to have the big poll closings in California. Got an election alert. Poll closing in about 20 seconds or now. So there'll be some biggies out there to talk about.
Yeah, you see California, Idaho, Oregon, Washington. Those will all be closing here in about 10 seconds. And then, of course, we'll have the latest characterizations.
Wow.
We're going to pause for a moment while some of our East Coast stations go to their local news now.
Wow.
And welcome back at the top of the hour, 11 o'clock hour here in the East. NBC News can project that Kamala Harris will win in the state of California, 54 electoral votes. In the state of Idaho, NBC News projects Donald Trump will win and take those 4 electoral votes in Idaho. Here's the map where it moves in the road to 270. Donald Trump with 214. Harris now with 145. So things certainly becoming a little more interesting as the evening progresses.
Okay,
Yes, it
for the
does.
11 o'clock poll closings, we have a couple of uncalled races, Oregon and Wisconsin. We just called California. Now let's go to our battlegrounds. Pennsylvania, too close to call, 11 o'clock Eastern, 8 o'clock in the West. Same story in Michigan, too close to call at this hour, with about a third of the vote counted there. In Wisconsin, it is too close to call. You knew it would be a tight election. The polls all showed it, and that's certainly
Wow.
being borne out tonight. 60% of the vote in there. In Georgia, it is too close to call. Getting closer to
this
that
is
final
getting
number there. but
crazy,
there's still,
guys.
The margins are just too close to
Getting
make a call
wild.
in that presidential race. Same thing in North Carolina. In fact, it's too early to call. We are
This
still
is wild.
awaiting vote there. In Arizona, let's go out west. We've got 2 battlegrounds out west. We've got Arizona and Nevada. Polls closed there about a couple of hours ago. Well, 2 hours for Arizona.
Wow.
Last hour for Nevada. Both of these too early to call. And Tom Yamas over at the board. And we're talking about Arizona. We haven't given its due tonight in Maricopa County. And don't
Man, listen, guys. This is wild. This is wild. It's wild to see. It's wild to see just how things are going right now in this country. We're in some wild times, guys. Wild times. If Trump pulls off Georgia, which is leaning towards that, if he pulls off Georgia and he wins Arizona and Nevada, as I said, he only needs one of those blue wall states. And Pennsylvania is too close to call. We have a lot of mail-in ballots, and who knows what might happen. It might be that a lot of those mail-in ballots went for Trump. We don't know, because people are scared. Because remember, a lot of Latinos have said already that they have voted for Trump. So, and there's a lot of Latinos that live in Pennsylvania. So Trump could pull Pennsylvania, and we'd be like, wow, this is amazing. But guys, we're living in some wild times now, some wild times. This is amazing time we're living in. An amazing time we're living in. But hey, this is how it goes. So let's get to Steve Kanaki and see what Kanaki news, what was going on here. Let's see what's going on, if he's saying anything. All right, nope, actually not saying anything. So let's see about. Let's get back to the Electoral College map, and let's take a look at it again. So, and we see that the states that the Democrats won, California and everything, but here are the toss-ups. So let's just say, as I said, that Trump wins North Carolina and he wins Georgia, and he wins Nevada. He's still just going to be at 268. If Harris wins Pennsylvania, Michigan, and Wisconsin, she wins. She's at 270 on the dot. Trump needs one of those blue wall states. He needs to break that blue wall. It's the only way that he's going to win. It's the only way he's going to win. So Trump needs to break the blue wall. I don't know if it will happen. It might happen. It might not. We'll see. But it's going to be a crazy, crazy time, guys. Crazy, crazy time. Let's get back to NBC. I wanted to see what Fox is saying, but I'm trying to pull up Fox, and I don't know if I can pull up Fox. I'm trying to pull them up. I want to give the conservatives the opportunity to give their case, but I'm trying to pull them up, but I'm not. It's almost not able. It's not able to see exactly what's going on. So if you guys can help me, let me know exactly where I can find some Fox pundits, I'm trying to see. Let me see. Whoa, what is going on? Damn. Wow. Well, guys, I don't know. I'm looking to see if I can find Fox. Let me just put it in Fox News and see what will come up. If any pundits are talking about it. Don't really see anything going on. Well, actually, let's see. Nope. You know what? Let's check out ABC News. Let's see what ABC News have to say. Let's go from there. Let's see what ABC News have to say.
To be sure, as you've heard from Mary, the campaign, the Harris campaign, still very much sees a path and says this is going to be long and we need to be patient. And I think when they say long, they don't mean a long night; they mean a long week.
Yeah.
That's right.
Well, that's sobering, John.
That's amazing that he said that.
Take no offense.
I
We
said
appreciate the
before,
reporting
I
and
said
analysis,
that it will possibly, we may not know who's going to be president until the end of the week, the way things are going. We may not know who's going to be president to the end of the week. So we just have to be patient, guys. I understand that, we, especially for me as a YouTuber, I would love to, hey, the race is over now and race has been called. No, let's not focus on that. Let's focus on who is going to take the presidency when they tally all the votes and we know exactly what's going on. So let's have patience, guys. Please, if your candidate doesn't win, don't go out there and riot. Liberals, just be calm. Conservatives, just be calm. Do not, I repeat, do not go out there causing trouble. It is not needed. These people out there, there's cops out there, there's military out there. They will blow yourself away. They will blow you out of your socks, out of your shoes. You'll be smoking out of your shoes if you decide to do something stupid. Just let the race go. Let it be. We find out who wins and we go from there.
We do have some news coming in here. The decision desk here at ABC News has not projected Georgia, but we can report that Georgia's Secretary of State, Brad Raffensperger, has now said at a press conference moments ago that Donald Trump has a, quote, insurmountable lead with the number of votes outstanding in the state of Georgia. He said, it looks like this is pretty much done. I think the results are pretty well baked in. And of course, you all at home remember our reporting on Raffensperger, the Republican who famously stood firm during that key phone call when Donald Trump asked, just find me the 11,000 votes when he lost to Joe Biden. So this is not someone who's necessarily obviously very friendly with Donald Trump. He stands by the process. He stands by the hard work in that state to make sure that this election was safe. And tonight, moments ago, again, we haven't projected this at ABC News, but the Secretary of State in Georgia saying this is insurmountable that Donald Trump has won there.
And look, Brad Raffensperger is a Republican. He's elected Republican, but he is a straight shooter. No doubt about it. So again, we haven't called it, but I would take what he said very seriously.
Let's get right to the ground in Georgia. Steve Osunsami in Atlanta. Steve, what do you make of this? And you.
So if we have that Trump, as they said, that he has an insurmountable lead, we can now go to our electoral college map and we can pretty much call Georgia for Trump. So let's continue. Let's see what goes on. True. Very true. Very true. We have to understand that. There's a lot of people that voted early, guys. There's a lot of people that voted early. so many people, I think that Trump, one of the things that if Trump wins this, I believe the reason why he would have won was because instead of like in 2020 when he was like, oh, don't worry about voting early, Trump was like, listen, get out and vote. Trump changed his whole routine. He stopped listening to a lot of these conservative pundits, a lot of these conservative people who was like, oh, don't worry about it. People are going to come out and vote. No, this has really, really changed, and it has given him possibly a stronghold in certain areas that Biden won, and and trying to flip it back to being red. It's unbelievable. Let me hear what he has to say. Mm. Wow. That's true. That's true. Really? Oh, and that's another thing that we have to talk about. And I didn't even mention this. Gen Z voters. Guys, they could turn the election. The Gen Z voters can turn this election. That's something I had totally forgot about. I totally forgot about. I have a cousin. She's 23 years old, and she mentioned that to me. She was like, Akil, I think that the country might be sleeping on the Gen Z vote. So it could be that that's the vote, that's the voting block that changed or turned the tide for each candidate, either candidate. So we have to see. That's crazy. Mm. And you know that if Harris loses, guys, if Harris loses, you know already what they're going to say, especially in those states like Georgia and stuff like that, or even in Pennsylvania. You're going to have a lot of people that's going to say, oh, Harris lost because of the black male vote, and the black man went to vote for Trump and this, that, and the third, and Ray. I don't think so. I think it would be that Harris would have lost because more people decided that they wanted Trump than they wanted Harris. Simple as that. And I don't think that it would really turn to the black male vote. I don't think so. It could be. I could be wrong. It could be, but I don't really think that will be the case. I think that Harris would still have a strong black male showing. There's going to be men like me who are independent who did vote for Trump, but it's not going to be that big of a difference in those states like Georgia, or let's say even New York, where I'm in, and stuff like that, where I voted for Trump, but New York overwhelmingly went for Harris. So a lot of the black men who possibly said that they're going for Trump are probably in states that probably would have voted for Trump in the to begin with, or are probably in states where their vote wouldn't really make a difference. So we have to really think about that and say that, hey, this is how it's going to be and stuff. But guys, let me hear what this have to say real quick. And let me see, before I cut it off, I'm going to go to Kanaki and see if Kanaki is telling no, or actually no, he's not really talking about anything. So let's go to NBC real quick. Switch to NBC, and we'll hear what NBC have to say. Oh, please, whoever is Trump handler, do not let him come out and say anything dumb. Do not say anything dumb. Say something. Thank you for voting. Really appreciate you guys. We're going to wait till things get settled out before we figure things out. Please don't go and say anything dumb. Please, please, please. I beg you, please. Because if it turns out that, let's just say, Harris wins it, you have some supporters who are outrageously crazy. And we do not need that, guys. We need things to be different. We don't want some insurrection that happened or some failed coup like January 6th. We need things to be calm and balanced. We don't need things to be going crazy. But let me hear what this guy has to say real quick before I end it out. Wow. Wow. Well, guys, listen, I am about to cut it up. I appreciate all the people who came and joined me. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you guys for watching. This was a great night for me. I really appreciate just the way that the news handled themselves with professionalism. I wanted to hear some things about Fox News and hear what, you know, the conservatives has to say, but I really couldn't find it. Maybe I probably didn't look hard enough, but I feel that the way that the liberal media, as they can say, of ABC News, NBC, you know, MSNBC, they handle themselves very, very professionally. I have to agree with that. But we just have to see, guys. We just have to see who's going to win. As I said, there's many races that's too close to call. We may not know who exactly wins to maybe tomorrow, or we may not know who's going to win it all till later on this week, or possibly even into next week. So we definitely have to see what goes on, and we have to wish each candidate the best. Good luck to Vice President Harris. She ran a wonderful campaign. I may not support her, but there's many millions upon millions of people who are supporting her, who have voted for her, and I feel that she ran a great campaign, and good luck to her. And to Uncle Trump, you ran a great campaign as well. You were almost assassinated, which is flipping crazy, but you as well ran a great campaign. Good luck to you. I hope that you take it all. But if you don't, and Harris becomes our president, I will continue to support whoever the president is. I may not like their views, but that is my president, and I will do what needs to be done to show my support. Well, guys, thank you so much for watching this live. For those who joined me, I really, really appreciate that you joined. Thank you so much. I would appreciate if you can like the video, you make some comments, you know, just let me know how you feel about everything. Let me know if you think that your candidate is going to win it all, whoever you feel is going to win. Congratulations in advance to whoever wins. Good luck to them. Thank you so much for joining me this late night hour. I really appreciate it. I will be back, make a video in the morning to discuss whoever wins. If they talks about if someone wins and gets over 270 by the morning, I'll make a video. But guys, thank you so much. Take care. Be safe. I love each and every one of you. Have a good night. Peace.